Good morning. Welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Monday again. It is Monday, July the 27th. We're here to look at the new releases published this week, and on Mondays we look at the cozy mysteries. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you stayed cool. It was very hot here in Montana. Plus we had some storms in the late evenings. Let's jump in. First up, All Aboard for Murder by Ellen Byron, third in the Golden Motel Mysteries. It's October in Gold Rush Country, and all manner of tricks and treats are happening in the lead up to Halloween. October also happens to be the birthday of Angus Sprockles, the man responsible for the town being designated a historic landmark, and the residents are celebrating his memory as well. His only living descendant, Moses Sprockles, runs the narrow gauge railroad, once used to ferry lumber from the mountains to the sawmill, now a tourist attraction. The Sprockles Railroad is hosting a Halloween-themed fundraiser for the Historical Society. But when a body is found on the tracks, it's not a Halloween prank. It's Moses himself, seemingly felled by a fallen tree branch. Dee's dad, Sam, is convinced his friend is the victim of foul play and urges his daughter to apply her sleuthing skills. Dee's train of thought leads her to suspects, ranging from a former child star and a one-hit wonder, the owner of a nail salon with her claws and everything, and even the mayor. When a excuse me. When a self-proclaimed ghost hunter throws his hat in the ring and claims to know who did it, the investigation really goes off the rails. No matter how crazy things get, Dee is determined to blow the whistle on a runaway killer with a one-track mind. I forgot to click on it. We'll give it its moment. We've got something like 45 cozies published this week, so we're going to move right along. 8 Enchanting Elixirs by Lynn Cahoon, 8th in the Kitchen Witch Mysteries. Mia's grandmother is feeling stressed about an ex who's returned from the dead. Mia's boyfriend is confined to his home for 6 weeks in a desperate attempt to get his fluffy Maltese pup, Serby, trained as a hellhound. And Mia herself is being hassled by the coven, which is suddenly questioning the validity of her witch credentials. Suspected of cheating on her exam, Mia is pressured to retake it. When she not only passes but moves up 2 levels, National Coven Rep Suzanne Parker is furious. Parker, a relative of a witch hanged in Salem, threatens Mia with a witch's worst nightmare. When she's found dead the very next day, the coven suspects the kitchen witch's potions contained an extra, very lethal ingredient. With all this toil and trouble, Mia has no choice but to prove that she's a good witch, in every sense of the word. This next one, I look at it and think Nancy Drew, but it's not a Nancy Drew, it's just the cover. Good morning, Amy, she says. Good morning, everyone. It's going to be another triple-digit day here, 102. Blech. I think I may change when I leave for my trip by a few days. And I hope everyone stays safe, hydrated, and cool indeed. This is Paranormal Activity by Kate Conte. My glasses are really dirty. 10th in the Cat Cafe Mysteries. Summer is in full spring on Daybreak Island, and JJ's House of Purrs, the new mobile cat cafe, has Maddie James running non-stop with an on-site cat parties. So when Olivia McAllister, her mother's childhood best friend, returns to the island for the first time in decades, after a family tragedy drove her away, and asks Maddie to plan a birthday party for her granddaughter, Maddie happily agrees. It's been 40 years since Olivia's aunt Delia McAllister vanished without a trace. Her disappearance was never solved, and the abandoned family house has loomed over the island ever since. But when Maddie and her mom arrive at Delia's old house, it's empty, except for a white and gray cat that leads Maddie to a hidden room. There, she finds Olivia dead. Soon, Maddie learns the mysterious cat may be tied to a ghostly island legend, and as she digs deeper, she realizes she's unraveling 2 disappearances, 40 years apart, while someone is desperate to keep the truth buried. The Inn at Holiday Bay by Kathy Daly, 40th in the Inn at Holiday Bay. Let's see, the Inn at Holiday Bay, verification in the video. Summer has arrived in Maine, bringing heat, humidity, and an influx of visitors to the seaside community of Holiday Bay. Known for its enthusiasm for festivals and special events, the town thrives during the busy summer season. While the crowds are good for business, they leave employees and business owners stretched thin as they struggle to keep up with the demands of another record-breaking tourist season. Hoping to expand her skills and bring even more value to her role at the inn, Haven enrolls in a summer cooking class taught by a popular food vlogger and culinary influencer. The instructor's unconventional approach to cooking is a hit with many of the students, including Haven. Everything seems to be going well until an outdoor cooking demonstration ends in tragedy when a gunshot rings out, leaving one person dead and a long list of suspects in its wake. Meanwhile, Abby finds herself dealing with the consequences of a promise Colt's mother made on her behalf to the local middle school principal. Soccer season approaches, creating controversial draft day tension between Lacey and one of her daughters. Haven makes an unexpected new friend, and Colt and Lonnie join forces with Dawson and Sully to form a classic rock band, proving that life in Holiday Bay is never dull, even when murder isn't on the agenda. All that in 195 pages. End of that road. You're going on a trip, Angel? Sorry, it just occurred to me. You said you're going on a trip. Not Angel, Amy. I'm sorry. Bubble Bubble, Tea and Trouble by Vicki Delaney, 7th in Tea by the Sea Mysteries. When Lily stumbles across 5 middle-aged women gathered in a dark corner of the tea room for a book club, in quotes, she firmly reminds them that the inn's no-smoking policy also applies to their oddly ritualistic candles. As they head outside, Lily overhears them chalking their bad luck up to the absence of their leader, Katya. Whatever they're doing, it certainly isn't reading, and their cover is starting to sound like weak tea. While they enjoy Lily's homemade banana bread the next morning, they make their intentions clear, grilling Lily about any past paranormal activity in the cliffside mansion. Their attempts to contact spirits have been falling flat, it seems, and the mysterious Katya is catching the heat. Level-headed Lily thinks the real reason is that there's no such thing as ghosts. But Lily's pal Bernie has found another explanation. The half-baked spirit seekers have the wrong house. The haunted reputation belongs to the place next door, where Lily's gardener boyfriend is currently staying. But before they can inform the luckless ladies, the missing medium shows up, dead on the rocks at the bottom of the cliff. Now Lily has 2 jobs, serving afternoon tea and solving a murder before someone else gets sent to the great beyond. A Sprinkle of Treachery by S. Usher Evans, 5th in the Pobid Perfections Bakery series. Election season is around the corner, and magical baker Lily Dean is up to her eyeballs in bakery orders. Between Kemp Abora ordering dozens of cookies to bolster his chances of re-election and the Fisherfolk Council wanting her to cater their many meetings, she's busier than she knows what to do with. So when both campaign trails become violently ill, Lily's on the case to protect her reputation and find the real culprit. But is someone out to sabotage her, or do they have some larger prize to win? Amy says, yes, going to visit my dad and stepmother in Missouri. I answer both Angel or Amy. I'm sorry. No, I meant to say Amy. And that reminds me, our Mary here was traveling this week up to Michigan. Over. Troubled Water by Cassandra Lamb. What does it say about you when your coming-of-age story begins at 71? Amy Bridges Parker asks herself that question as she resists her domineering sister's attempts to take over where her subtly controlling and recently deceased husband left off. Then her sister Clara turns up dead, and a young man claiming to be the grandson of Amy's first husband, the one who died in Vietnam 52 years ago, gives the sheriff a prime suspect. the boy had a grudge and must have gone after the wrong sister. Amy isn't convinced. She really can't explain why, but she likes the young man, and she knows better than most that her sister, a mean girl back in high school, had plenty of old enemies. But who hated Clara enough to actually kill her? Or did the killer get the wrong sister after all? I will be looking at things that she's done more recently, but hey. Turmoil After Talismans by Kat McGee. 7th in the Mystic Haven Tea Shop Mysteries. A few months ago, she was a celebrity. Let's do the first sentence. Fiona Shaw has managed diva meltdowns, double-booked ballrooms, and one enchanted handbag. Rogue talisman should be easy, right? A few months ago, she was a celebrity personal assistant with a storage unit in Florida. Now she runs a magical tea shop in Mystic Haven, a seaside town that keeps itself off the maps, where her assistant names blends by color and the copper samovar size when it's judging her. Then a reclusive collector is found dead among his ransacked shelves, and a case of ancient talismans vanishes into the fog. Each one grants its keeper's deepest wish. None of them explain the fine print. When the town's dwarven professor buys a jester coin to cure his stage fright, he cannot stop performing, and he will not be the last neighbor changed by something he only wanted. Armed with index cards, strong tea, her boyfriend mage handyman, and Theo, a Siamese with 3 centuries of opinions, Fiona wades into a suspect pool that includes a salvage man who answers to the tide and a salesman allergic to receipts, all while fending off the interests of a vampire lawyer who is entirely too helpful. That is entirely too full of creatures. End of that row. Mystic Brews and Mayhem by Karen McSpade, 3rd in the Magical Tea Shop Mysteries. How many blippin' magical tea shops are there in the country? Midlife witch Samara Snow has finally, there's a thing on my screen, settled into Winter Haven, Maine, with her magical tea shop, her talking familiar, a loyal found family, and a slow burn romance with a handsome fisherman, Jack Andrews. For once, life feels warm, cozy, and almost normal, until the mayor's holiday party at the Grand Jacobs estate turns deadly. When someone murders a powerful businessman during the festivities, a snowstorm traps Samara inside the old mansion with a guest list full of suspects. As Christmas cheer turns into suspicion, Samara uncovers bitter family secrets, dangerous grudges, a fortune worth killing for, and a killer hiding among the holiday guests. With her cat Pumpkin sniffing out clues, a nosy knitting circle refusing to stay out of the investigation, and Jack acting stranger by the hour, will Samara's midlife magic help her untangle gossip from evidence and secrets from deadly truth before the killer strikes again? Malice in Puzzleland by Roz Noonan, 3rd in the Alice Pepper Lonely Hearts and Puzzle Club Mystery. Alice is excited that the library is going to host its first ever speed puzzling competition until time runs out on a prominent local woman. Glamorous realtor to the rich, Babe Kincaid, is found floating in her own infinity pool. What police first suspect is an accident or medical crisis turns out to be a homicide when the autopsy reveals that Babe has been shot. The autopsy is what showed that? Babe's complicated love life leaves no shortage of suspects, including 2 ex-husbands and a fiancé. Then there's her family, complete with a spoiled daughter, a ne'er-do-well son, and an always overlooked sister. All of them have the same motive. babe's massive inheritance. Alice faces a ticking clock in this investigation. There are lots of moving pieces, and before she can shake loose a killer, an explosion and disappearance throw the town into even more of a tumult. It's up to Alice to click all the clues into place before those nearest and dearest to her become the next victims. ... Pineapple Diamonds by Amy Van Sant, 28th in the Pineapple Port Mysteries. It says every book can be read as a standalone mystery. Charlotte and Declan tackle a mysterious jar, a family with secrets, and a missing woman cold case in this fun and thrilling Pineapple Port mystery. After a disastrous kayaking trip scores Mariska a mysterious jar of junk, Charlotte and Declan soon realize it's connected to the disappearance of a woman named Wendy Overland. As old secrets resurface, a smuggling operation, a marriage built on lies, hidden rooms, and forgotten bones, Charlotte and Declan realize someone has been getting away with murder for over 30 years. Okay. Gossip in the Gardenias by Janet Fix, 4th in the Betty Benigno Mysteries. When whispers begin circling about one of the town's most respected residents, Betty Benigno finds herself tasked with putting the tea back in the kettle. The trouble is, no one seems to know where the rumors started, much less whether they're true. Determined to get to the bottom of things before reputations are ruined, Betty follows a winding trail of hearsay, half-truths, and second-hand stories. After all, spilling the tea is easy. Putting it back in the kettle is another matter entirely. End of that row. Shrink Solves Murder by Philippa Perry. Living in idyllic coastal Sussex, Patricia Phillips enjoys her quiet life, walking the cliffs, shouting at poorly disciplined dog owners, telling tourists to keep their distance from the crumbling cliff edges, and cold water swimming. Then a body washes up near Beachy Head, upending her carefully curated life as she discovers the deceased is one of her clients, her 3 o'clock in fact. The police chalk it up to suicide, but Pat sees things differently. She reads people. She understands them, their lusts, their loves, their quirks, their tics, their tells, their deepest desires. She looks, she listens, she watches, and she never jumps to conclusions. After all, she spends her days listening to secrets, resentments, fantasies, and motives. She's certain someone wanted Harry Clayton dead. With her chaotic best friend Pritchard, part-time poet, full-time meddler in tow, Pat swaps the therapist couch for the crime scene. It's time to unpick the lies, untangle the egos, and catch a killer hiding in plain sight. I didn't. Bound by Secrets by Tanya Kappas. First in a new series, Boone's Book Nook Bookstore Mysteries. After traveling to the tiny town of Normal, Kentucky to purchase a valuable copy of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Sadie, let's read the first sentence. Former New York acquisitions editor Sadie Whitfield never expected a rare first edition to change her life. After traveling to the tiny town of Normal, Kentucky to purchase a valuable copy of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, Sadie discovers its owner dead before the deal can be completed. With the murder weapon missing, the priceless book gone, and Sadie as the last outsider seen with the victim, she quickly becomes a sheriff's prime suspect. Determined to clear her name, Sadie reluctantly joins forces with Normal's delightfully nosy laundry club ladies, a group of southern sleuths who believe every casserole, cup of coffee, and piece of gossip might hold the key to solving a murder. As clues point toward the rival collectors, old grudges, paper angels crafted from torn books, and secrets buried deep within the close-knit community, Sadie realizes someone is willing to kill to keep the truth hidden. While searching for a murderer, Sadie finds something she never expected in the postcard perfect town tucked inside the Daniel Boone National Forest. Friendship, a fresh start, and an empty cottage storefront that just might become the bookstore she's always dreamed of owning. But before Boone's book nook can open its doors, Sadie has to survive long enough to solve her very first mystery. All in 193 pages. Magnolias, Mint Juleps, and Mayhem by Aaron McCarthy. Third in the Midnight House Mysteries. Midnight House is fully booked with guests attending the glamorous Magnolia Heritage Gala at Belrave Manor. It promises to be an evening filled with southern charm, historic splendor, and plenty of champagne-fueled gossip. But when prominent preservationist Evelyn Carrington collapses beneath a blooming magnolia tree, the society soiree turns sinister. A legacy member of the organization, the position inherited from her great-aunt Odette, Harper Bergeron is on hand immediately to step in and solve the murder, or poke her nose precisely where it doesn't belong, according to her friend and neighbor Detective Hollis Broussard. As whispers swirl, suspicion settles on the guests of Midnight House, each of them having a reason to want Evelyn silenced. With Harper's podcasting best friend digging for interviews and Teddy the skunk sniffing out trouble for just mint leaves, Harper must untangle pride, ambition, and long-buried mistakes before spring's most elegant celebration becomes a permanent scandal. Because in New Orleans, the spirits keep flowing even when the dead stop talking. And the bell's about to ring. So we will stop there. Everybody remember where we parked? We parked on the Mint Juleps. Alrighty. Well, on Wednesday we'll look at the darker side, the thrillers and crime fiction, procedurals, and so forth. And then on Friday we'll look at the rest of these cozy mysteries. There's a lot of them. We might have to do drive-bys, but we'll do our best. Thank you guys so much for being here. Have a good Monday. Be safe. Stay cool. Stay hydrated. If you're traveling, please be safe. Otherwise, let's see. I don't have sprints tonight. Our next sprints are tomorrow night, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. I do sprints, live sprints, every Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. my time. They go for 2 hours, and then on Saturdays, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, it goes for 5 hours. Amy says, have a good day, everyone. We'll back at you, baby. Thank you. Alrighty. Hope you're reading good books. If you're not, it's okay to put it on pause and try something else. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day. God bless.